All right, everyone. Welcome to the Ram Show. It is, May 24th, 2017? And we're like 20 minutes late. Thanks to somebody.
No comment.
So, hey!
Why is videos auto-playing again? Oh, there's another one.
You know how those
There's
websites...
another one. That's 4 videos auto-playing right now.
Hey.
Alrighty, I love it. Thanks, CNET, you piece of trash.
You know how these websites work. You should be used to this by now.
I'm not.
So, Zach has decided he wants push to talk this week, so fine, whatever, I guess. That works. Did you get a chance to look over the topics, or are you doing this blind?
I'm looking at them right now, I think.
Okay. So I have muted my Google Assistant in the background, because otherwise this would cause problems. But saying okay Google is awful. Something that you don't have an issue with. Saying okay Google is awful. Something you don't have a problem with.
No, I don't. I don't use that crap.
This is a very 1% problem right here. But if you have both an Amazon Echo and a Google Home in, the same home, which one do you use? And I guess here's my thing. I use the Google Home because it is a lot more effective and it works better with the things that I have. If you have an Amazon Echo, though, you may have, the Amazon Fire Stick or whatever the heck the things are. Anyway, my point is that saying Alexa is a lot easier than saying, hey, Google, and other people agree. So, here's the thing. Would Google ever be open to changing this? What do you think?
Well, maybe if it's not difficult to get it to be reliable.
I don't think it's so much the fact that it's getting it to be reliable. So this is what they say. Google, hang on. Rishi Chandra, I probably just butchered this guy's name. Anyway, he's the VP for Google Home. He says he's heard the feedback, and in fact, feedback is one of the reasons that you can actually say, hey, Google, instead of, okay, Google. You actually can say both of them, which is nice, to activate the Google Home.
Why can't you say whatever you...
Why can't you say whatever you want? Because they haven't programmed it that way.
Okay, well, I think that they should, because that seems like a basic customization option.
Well, Google says they're open to adding another easier-to-say hot word to its assistant. Maybe.
And they still won't let you say whatever you want?
Well,
okay,
Google...
whatever, I guess.
Okay, so here's the thing. Google decided not to give its intelligent assistant a name like Siri or Alexa or Cortana or whatever, and instead it's actually just called the Google Assistant. Which, I mean, if you think about it, there's some nice things about that.
Okay, I mean, I don't know. I don't really have an issue with it.
Well, it's genderless, for one thing. And it tells you what the thing
I'm
is.
sure someone could find an issue if they gave it a gender.
Well, I mean, it does have a female's voice, so I guess you could say that it is technically a female. Just saying. But...
I've never actually used one.
According to... let's see. It tells you what the thing is. And for Google, and maybe this is one of the reasons they haven't done anything, it signals that it's a core product for the future of the company.
Why is that?
Well, think about it.
How does that signal such thing?
It's the branding, So if you think about it, like...
It's the brand value. Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah, it's the brand value, because it's literally Google. Whereas...
They want their name on it.
Well, sure, I guess. But if you think about it, like, Cortana, Siri, Alexa, like, okay, fine, you understand that those things, because they've been around now,
I don't know. I feel like there's still a strong enough association with Amazon for Alexa and
Well, yeah, now there is.
Cortana for Microsoft.
Now
I don't
there
know.
is.
It wouldn't be long before people started associating whatever name Google gave theirs with.
With what it actually is. You got to keep.
Yeah,
You got to stop cutting yourself off there at the end.
Am I like cutting off? Oh, geez.
Yeah, you keep clipping yourself at the end. We'll figure it out eventually.
I can change my settings so it lasts longer.
Or just hold it longer at the end. Anyway.
I'm not used to that. Sorry.
We'll figure it out. We're not professionals here yet.
Far from it.
Yeah. Anyway, so what I think, what I see is by actually putting your name on it, Google, it identifies it as a product that Google has, and I think it makes it more, like they're gonna put more work into it because it actually is, this is the Google Assistant. It's tied to Google. It's got their name on it versus something like Cortana or Alexa, where in the future it may just kind of fade out because yeah, it is associated with, like, say, Microsoft or Amazon, but I think by it not directly having its name tied to it, it gives them more room to I don't know, develop less on it. Maybe, I don't know. That's my theory, I guess.
It gives them more room to something, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. So this, all of this makes Google kind of cautious to throw another word into the mix there to actually get the thing to activate, I guess. So yeah, they're possibly open to it, but the VP, he doesn't want to make any quick changes without fully thinking through those implications.
I changed my delay, by the way. I shouldn't be cutting off anymore.
Ah, that sounds a little bit better. Okay. Moving on. Oh. So the way I have OBS set up, I actually have it set up in what do they call this? Like studio mode, where I can see like what I'm going to be going to and what's currently streaming. And I just tried to go from the double box to the double box. That doesn't really work.
Probably not, no.
No. So moving on. That was kind of, I don't know. Topics for this week were kind of sparse when I was looking for them. But now we start to get into some of the more interesting stuff. How do you feel about...
Holographic screens?
Yeah, how do you feel about holographic screens? Yeah, the world's thinnest hologram.
I think that sounds awesome. I want one of those.
So let me ask you, would you rather have a hologram screen or an ultra wide?
Oh, I want a hologram, dude. I would absolutely want one of those over one of those ultra wides. I think those ultra wides are silly. I don't need one.
So there's a team of Australian and Chinese researchers at RMIT University in Melbourne, and they've unveiled the world's thinnest hologram with the potential to change the way we look at technology, quite literally. Now let me just ask you, can you see gamers, like, they developed this this technology well enough, can you see gamers moving towards, like, holograms instead of, like, their ultra wides?
I don't know if there's any, like, I mean, I guess it depends what's the quality of it. What's the image quality? What's the refresh rate? Is there any lag? What is it?
That's a good point.
How does it perform? It really depends on all of those things. If it's better at any of those things, maybe.
So the nano hologram is set apart from other holograms because it can be seen without 3D goggles. So I don't know if this introduces like some 3D stuff into it then too or not.
Really?
It kind of makes it sound like that then. Get this. It measures just 25 nanometers, roughly 1,000 nanometers thinner than a human hair.
Ah, well, all right then. That's like we're starting to get into the territory of process sizes we talk about on CPUs and stuff.
Do you see CPUs like becoming smaller, or do you think they'll stay kind of the size that they are right now?
Not much smaller, just because there's not much room to get smaller.
Right? Oh, man. Ah! Where is there? That's what I want. I couldn't find the right buttons to get to the right things that I wanted to put up on the screen. Oh my goodness, I'm failing this week.
Good job.
This whole thing's just kind of a cluster this week, I guess. Anyway. It's a good thing nobody watches this yet.
Yeah, maybe.
No, if you want to tell us we suck and we're horrible, go put it down. No, I'm just kidding.
Wouldn't be wrong.
Yeah, anyway, moving on. The researchers say the hologram is simple to manufacture and creates the potential for pop-up displays that render the confines of a traditional, 2D screen irrelevant. What do you think?
Well, I mean, if it's like actually like really cheap to make, that would be interesting. You could have really big screens for not very much money.
I was talking more the fact that they say traditional 2D screens irrelevant.
Yeah, that sounds legit to me.
Well, do you think like the traditional 2D screens that we know will ever become irrelevant? Do you like? You've probably seen it before.
I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will.
Do you think at some point we'll all be walking around with like, you know, there'll be hologram stuff all over the place?
At some point you won't need a screen.
Yeah, like do you think that's the future?
Maybe to a point.
This says that 3D holography, I don't know how to pronounce that word. Yeah, this is the part where you also find out that I can't pronounce words either. But they say it has the potential to transform a range of industries, and this research brings that revolution one critical step closer. The next step in the development of this thin film is to develop a rigid thin film that can be laid on top of an LCD screen to create a 3D display. Okay, so that's interesting. So, wait, what would be the reasoning for that? I thought the whole idea was it was supposed to be a hologram.
Wait, what?
It says, the research says the next step is to develop a rigid thin film that can be laid on top of an LCD screen to create...
I think I get what you're saying here. It's gonna like basically go above it and sort of make it seem 3D.
Oh, I was thinking when I reread it, I was thinking, or the LCD is just so that they can get the lighting that they need for it. I don't know. I was actually thinking like when I heard hologram, I was actually thinking like, you know, legit hologram where it floats there in midair. Maybe we're not quite. Maybe
so was I. What the heck?
Yeah, maybe we're not quite there yet.
Are we not? I don't. Whatever. We're full of trash, apparently.
Well, okay. So I'm looking. I've got the picture up here on. Hang on 1 second here. Let me do this real quick. There we go. Now you can see the mouse. So I've got the picture up here on screen now. So there's a guy, and this could be a very, you know, kind of futuristic kind of thing here, but the guy is here holding like this little like device, and then on top of it is like the little city, like a hologram city. Like that's kind of what I was thinking it was going to be.
Top of the page, I was like, what?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking it was, but maybe you're right. Maybe
that's a stock photo, but like something like that. You know, like what? Really? Already?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking that it was going to be. I thought it was going to be something like that, but I guess maybe not. Either way, I still think the technology is, like, sweet.
Yeah, make it happen.
I would, like I said, I would love to have it. Like, can you see that? Like, you get up in the morning and, your
Really, if
whole
it
day.
depth, like those 3D screens.
Yeah, like your whole day, like you hit like a button and your whole day is like popped up on a screen in front of you. You probably like, yeah, I'm sure you've seen that in like a movie somewhere, some futuristic movie,
Yeah,
haven't
I
you?
totally I get what you mean.
Yeah. Um, so no, if they're gonna be affordable, sign me up for one. I'd love to get my hands to one of these
Good
little
luck with
things.
that part.
Hey, yeah, if you're giving away stuff, we'd love to do a review on it.
Oh my god.
Oh, come on, don't get me wrong. You would love to have one to play around with.
Except it doesn't exist yet.
Yeah, but it's close, I guess. I think. Is it?
I don't think that's what they're making.
I think the plan is for them to. I don't know. I don't know enough about it. Sad part is I read the story too, but apparently, yeah, I don't know. Random happenings. That's why we call it the Ram Show, because we really
Wait,
don't know
hold
what we're
on.
doing.
It says a pop-up 3D hologram. I'm pretty sure that's what. Maybe that's what they're trying to make. They haven't got that yet. I don't know.
Well, yeah, so that's what I thought it was going to be too. Oh,
I don't know. Whatever. Who cares?
there we go. Okay. Man, I am all over the place with button pushing today. I set up my hotkeys in OBS and I apparently forgot what order they're in. So, yeah.
Grass.
Oh, man. You know what's sad, too? I think our first, episode of the Ram Show is probably our best so far.
Really? I didn't see anything wrong with last week.
I thought the content was a little dull, and, we could have gotten a little more into stuff. I think I just kind of rushed.
Well,
I rushed through last week, and I didn't really read a lot of the articles. I was just like, oh, hey, this looks cool. This looks cool. So, anyway. You know what, though? Finding tech news every week is at least interesting tech news, kind of hard.
depends on the week.
Yeah, that's true. As we, began the new week, I found some more interesting stuff. I actually did find this last week, and I'm interested to get your input on this. So, moving on. Theron OS. Any idea what it is?
I can read it and see what it is.
So Theron OS is a Linux distribution, actually. Now you played around with Linux for a little bit, haven't you?
Yeah, just a bit.
So what Theron OS is, they're saying it's going to come close to being an ideal replacement for Microsoft Windows and Mac OS.
Okay.
Now, if you tested it out, well, actually, let me ask you this. Would you ever consider moving away from Windows?
Unless there's good support for stuff that's historically only Windows.
Well, yeah, so most gamers are running Windows because that's what most of the games run on.
I mean, there's some weird stuff you can do with Linux to get it to work, but
it
seems clunky and pointless, really.
Okay. Well, Theron does include Wine compatibility layer for running Windows applications. I've never played with Wine before. I don't know if you ever have either, so I don't know how good it is.
I've heard of it though. I'm fairly certain that's what most people who load games on Linux do.
So this says the impressive Linux OS is a very attractive replacement for any Linux distro. Yeah, did I say that right? Distro? I have no idea.
Distribution.
Anyway. One complaint that I've seen about it, though, is the dislike of the Cinnamon desktop, which I've never actually seen before. So
Well, I mean, you can scroll down and see. I don't know. I mean, it looks something looks off about it. I think I don't know what.
let me just let's see here. It looks very at least this wallpaper that I just pulled up, it looks very Apple-esque, like Apple-like.
I'm not seeing that, but
Or maybe I don't know. It
eh.
looks like Apple-esque to me, at least a little bit. I don't know. I don't think it looks horrible. The
Doesn't look that bad. But why move away? I don't. Again, I don't have a reason to move away from what I have that works.
to get away from the telemetry data.
Other than that, yeah. Or unless Microsoft royally screws something up again.
Well, you never know. You know what Microsoft is saying now that Windows 10 will be the last operating system ever, and they're just going to simply send out, patches and stuff for it.
Yep.
So, I
Seen
don't
that
know.
before.
I don't know. Maybe. That doesn't fit into the well, okay, so if you think about it, traditionally what? Microsoft releases a new OS like every 2 years or something? Is that what it is?
Somewhere between 2 and 3, I'd say.
Yeah,
Just off the top of my head.
well, okay, I guess they technically they are releasing Windows 10s, which I guess is still Windows 10, whatever. Anyway,
Windows 10 with restrictions all over.
man, like
Oh
really,
boy.
like why? Well, I don't know. Is it to like idiot proof it more?
Well, I mean, I guess it's to like be compatible with those super low performance, ultra thin devices. But at the
Well, I
same
think.
time,
Well,
why
you're
did they have to
right.
tack on a bunch of silly restrictions like what browser you can and can't use? That's stupid.
Again, remember the focus of it is to be a uh, used in the educational market. So it's supposed to prevent students from downloading or installing, I guess, um, inappropriate applications. Even though I'm pretty sure there probably are some defined in the Windows Store.
Well, let me tell you something. That's not going to stop anyone. Well, actually, it's going to stop most people. However, those who want to are still going to do whatever they want with it.
Here's an interesting
However,
idea.
it will probably stop a lot of people from doing simple things like change which browser they want to use.
Here's an interesting idea. Not that Microsoft would ever do it because obviously they're Windows, but do you think moving, if you're looking, you know, getting some cheap devices and loading Linux onto them for a school setting?
What?
Like, do you think that would be a viable option? Or
Loading.
you're breaking up on me here.
Huh? I can't hear what you're saying, really.
Okay, so what I'm saying is that like instead of using something like Windows 10s or like the Chrome OS, do you think it would be a viable option for schools to use, say, I don't know, like Farron OS or some distribution of Linux?
I mean, it could be, but I bet they. Well, I just feel like Windows has a lot of the centralization features that, like you can push updates from one central server. You can manage users from one central server. I don't know if you can do that on Linux. Maybe you can.
I don't think Linux is that network based, but I could be wrong. Anyway, back to oh my goodness, excuse me. Back to Farron OS. As with I think almost any operating system, they say it's going to be very easy to install. Actually, the word they used was super easy to install.
So they want to make the intimidating OS install process really easy.
Yeah, it makes it suitable for those migrating to Linux, I guess, too.
I mean, at the same time, I feel like people who would be possibly, wary of that probably wouldn't be interested, or probably wouldn't be interested in installing a new OS in the first place.
I don't know. I can see maybe people from like running. It is based on Mint, so people possibly coming from Mint that are looking for something new, uh, or I guess, and the design of Farron is supposed to look similar to the classic Windows. So I can see maybe somebody coming from Windows being more familiar with that. Just maybe.
Sure.
So Farron OS is relatively new. Appeared late 2015, and I guess it's actually flourished pretty well since that time. Um, Works, of course, right out of the box, but well, okay, I guess this isn't that unusual. Uh, the download itself is 3.6 gigabytes for the ISO file. But this is what I found kind of interesting because, in my experience with Linux, it's always been kind of more of a bare bones kind of operating system that doesn't need necessarily a ton of resources. I guess this isn't bad, but well, maybe. Um, get this: you need at least 18.2 gigabytes of hard drive space to install the operating system.
What does it need that much for?
I don't know. Because, like, even Windows itself, I don't think needs that much.
No, it doesn't.
So, that is, it's a little on the high side. Also, the OS purred along just fine, at least in the tests that were done in this article on 8 gigabytes. But didn't do quite so well on the 4 gigabyte model, or test bench that they tried it on. So, this operating
Not so
system
efficient.
is no, yeah, it's very well, I guess it's got kind of a lot of bells and whistles built into it that needs. You know what? You know what it's reminding me of, kind of? Windows Vista.
Nah, I'm not getting that.
Well, okay, no. What I mean by that is because Vista wasn't necessarily the most uh, what is the resource optimized? I guess. You remember all the
Yeah,
the
I remember.
what do they call those things? The widgets on the side that would load up as soon as the operating system started that would just suck your memory consumption. I'm glad they got rid of those in Windows 7. Actually, I'm just glad they kind of got rid of Windows Vista altogether, but
Yeah, they more did that than anything.
let's see. Oh, this is funny too. Well, not funny, but interesting, I guess. Oh, and it goes back to maybe schools possibly using it, but the US based developers website hints at upcoming plans to package Farron OS and a third party laptop and eventually to fork the Cinnamon desktop to a Farron branded design.
Well, all right. I mean, it did say something about that the desktop was undesirable or something. Considered
So that
way?
part I can
don't know.
see. The part I thought was interesting though is the fact that they're looking to possibly branch it out and to put it on third-party application or not applications on third-party laptops. So getting into that market of like
Possibly like the ultra portable type things.
yeah, like I can see more like the Chromebook and stuff like that. Maybe I don't know. And a way
Could be a thing.
for them to possibly make some money. Already kind of covered this, but it includes wine compatibility layer for running Windows applications. So here's my question for you then with that. If you could get it to run, all of your games just fine, which by the way, Play on Linux and Steam are actually waiting for you in the menu.
All right. I mean, there would still be things to get used to, which I'm lazy. I don't want to deal with that, but maybe.
Well, and you don't like change either. And of course, most of us don't.
I mean, I just wish I could fix Windows. Like, geez, Microsoft, come on.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Fix your crap, and I won't feel the need to move to anyone else's.
Well, okay, so if Windows continues to go down the path that they're going, do you think more people may eventually look into moving into something, say, Theron OS?
More in the know people probably will.
Yeah, you're probably right. Uh, so I don't know, but yeah. So my question is with that, the compatibility of wine, or with Wine for your compatibility for running some Windows applications, and Steam's already on there. Uh, Theoretically, if Windows continues to go the way that they have been going, would you switch?
I mean, I really don't feel like I know enough about it, to be honest.
I think it'd be fun to play around with and see what we like, see what we don't like, and maybe we will explore that. I don't know.
Say that again?
I said I think it'd be fun for us to kind of play with it and see what we like, see what we don't like, and then maybe explore that. And see, I don't think anytime soon I'm going to be switching over to Linux. I rely on my Windows stuff way too much. But it'd be interesting to see if it could possibly become a replacement. I don't know. I'm not against learning Linux. I just am not good with command line stuff. But
I don't think you need to know command line for this.
No, it does make some things easier. Although they've got some simple installer tools and stuff like that to make installing applications a lot more simple instead of having to learn like command line stuff. And what is
Google?
Yeah,
Google's fine.
The Software Center and the launcher. Let's see. That's not where it is. I saw something in here about how like software updates go into like a certain spot, and then they can be installed from there with like the click of a button. So kind of like the the old Microsoft idea where you have like Windows updates and stuff like that. And
now they're just stealthily pushed to your machine, and you don't know about it until you start seeing something hogging bandwidth, and you don't know where it's coming from.
Yeah, I ran into that. Like in the first RAM show or something like that. Where I was like, I had some process running in the background that was taking up like 13% of my RAM
hard drive or something.
Or no, it was the CPU that it was doing. But still, it's like, why are the random things in the background, using up, 13% of my CPU usage? That's not right.
To be fair, it's 13% of not a lot.
Yeah, that's true. Anyway.
But still, I don't know. Maybe it was indexing or something silly.
I don't know.
I guess if it was indexing, it'd probably be running your hard drive, not your CPU, but whatever.
Anyway, the bottom line with Theron OS, it is a nearly flawless Linux computing platform that is practically maintenance-free. So, will it be the next new OS? Probably not. Windows is probably still going to dominate. I would imagine, at least.
Windows is here for a while.
All right, moving on. So last week we talked about WannaCry. Supposedly there is something new now. I haven't heard as much about this, but they're calling this the Doomsday Worm. So WannaCry used exploits from the NSA, and it used only 2 of them. Doomsday uses, take a guess.
More than 2.
Yes, 7 exploits.
Oh boy. From none other than the NSA. Wow.
So, on Sunday, researchers confirmed new malware named Eternal Rocks that uses 7 exploits first discovered by the National Security Agency and leaked in the leaked in April by the Shadow Brokers group. So I guess this is spreading, still using the same exploits, and created botnets to mine for. So this one says it's mining for cryptocurrency. So I don't know if it's necessarily doing the same thing
Oh,
as the
so then it's
WannaCry.
just sitting there leeching your system resources. That's all it's doing.
Well, yeah, well, yeah, because that's how Bitcoin mining works, where it basically like crunches numbers.
It's not as efficient to do that on a computer anymore.
No, aren't like
It's
graphics
done on
cards.
ASICs now.
ASICs. I heard graphics cards were supposed to be really good for doing it too, because they're really good at crunching numbers.
Well, they were the best, and then they came up with these basically purpose-designed chips that are only designed to do that, and they're just so stupidly good at it that they can beat graphics cards easily now.
Wow. So this might be part of the reason why we haven't been hearing so much about this new worm that's going around, because like I said, it's designed more for
Because all it
mining
does is mine
cryptocurrency.
Bitcoin. I mean, I'll bet a lot of people who have it don't even know about it.
Yeah, actually, that is true.
The only thing they're going to notice is their computer might be a little slower.
Uh, yeah, well, this says it's unclear what Eternal Rocks is actually going to be weaponized into. But
I mean, yeah, again, they could just suddenly start hacking, or not hacking. They're already in people's computers. They could start, ransoming people's files then, since they're already in people's computers.
yeah, so WannaCry would actually pop up that message, which I actually just heard something interesting. I was watching some videos. Apparently, somebody actually either found or actually I think they built something that will decrypt your files if they are encrypted by WannaCry.
Yeah, I mean, for something so big, I'm not surprised that someone
Might have
come
figured
up
out
with
how to
something to get
decrypt it.
people's stuff back. Yeah.
I don't know how well it works, but anyway,
Sometimes
this one.
antivirus companies are the ones to do that, actually.
Anyway, unlike a WannaCry where it would throw a message and tell you, "Hey, you've been infected," this does not.
Yeah,
And
because then you'd get rid of it and get your resources back.
it also waits, get this, 24 hours before contacting the server.
Really?
Yeah, so like it like gets itself onto your box and then it just sits there for 24 hours, and then after 24 hours it's like, "Hey, server, I'm here," and then it communicates back and forth with the server after that. I guess it's their way of like trying to be more stealthy. Stealth, so whatever the word is.
I mean,
Stealthy.
I, for one, would notice it almost immediately because, I actually need my graphics card. And when it suddenly starts performing terribly, well,
Yeah, I wonder
something's up.
I wonder how like noticeable it actually is if you get it, or if they've designed it in a way where it's not as likely to be identified, I guess.
Or it, doesn't use too much resources or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Hopefully
Especially
you don't
since
notice it, and collectively, a lot of people mine a lot of Bitcoins.
well, and I don't know. Like it's like I said, it's still unclear what it's going to be weaponized into. So I'm a little unclear as to whether it actually is ransomware or whether they say it's been created to
That's not
exploit the
ransomware.
botnets. So I don't know
Yeah,
exactly.
that's just a Bitcoin mining botnet, basically. That's not really ransomware.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting out of it. So I think that's more what it's geared toward. And again, I think that's why we haven't heard as much about it now as we did with WannaCry, because it was affecting personal computers and businesses and stuff like that.
Damaging.
Yeah, I can imagine so, but the says the NSA has been widely criticized for holding on to these exploits without warning the companies involved. On Wednesday, Congress included a bill that would force the government to hand over its cyber arsenal to independent review boards.
I'm very certain they will not be happy about that.
I'm sure they won't either. Here's my other question, too, is I would hope that these independent review boards are not going to.
Trustworthy?
Yeah, trustworthy. That's the.
Again, I guess, I mean, what good does it do if the review board is in the NSA's pocket as well?
Well, it says, and that's why it's independent. So they don't want. I don't know. That'll be interesting to see. But and as we talked about last week, is Microsoft to blame? I don't know if Microsoft's necessarily to blame. Is the NSA to blame? Possibly. I don't know. My opinion
they're
is
at more fault than Microsoft is. Microsoft.
My opinion is that the NSA shouldn't have kept it secret. They should have said, "Hey, Microsoft, we found these exploits. These are things that you should probably patch."
Because, that's no fun.
Well,
you can just use them to hack people.
Yeah, like I get what the NSA is supposed to be. It's supposed to protect against those kind of things. But I think there are other ways of getting into systems in a more, shall we say, legal way. I mean, I guess it's the NSA, so technically they're hacking into somebody else's computer isn't technically, at least I would imagine, illegal?
I don't know. It's kind of a gray area.
Yeah. But
if it is illegal, it's not enforced, really.
But yeah, I feel like there's a lot better ways for them to be able to access what they need to access instead of having to, hack somebody. I don't know. Yeah, I
Not
think
only that, but if
area.
anybody were to get unhappy about it, the worst they get is a slap on the wrist. Hey, don't do that again. You hear me?
Well, the NSA is government
anyway.
funded, I think. So it's one of those things where I don't know. I don't know enough about the NSA to actually know what they
kind of a
cannot do. And like I said, all my opinion is that they should have, said something to Microsoft, because now, WannaCry is... Well, actually, I think WannaCry has kind of been taken care of now, but it was a big thing. And it was one of the most massive,
I'm sure they already
attacks.
Made their money on that
one. Who? WannaCry? The developers?
The people who made that. I'm sure they already made plenty of money.
That is if they haven't gotten caught yet. I haven't heard anything. But anyway.
I wouldn't hold your breath.
Speaking of hacking, or maybe not hacking, but spying, shall we say. Get this. HP apparently has been shipping some computers.
What?
HP has been apparently shipping computers with keyloggers.
Keylogger. Oh boy, I'm pretty sure it was Lenovo that got in some hot water for that before.
So this was issued. Actually, this was a couple weeks ago, but there was a Swiss security researcher company that discovered that it's get this, it's an audio driver.
So it's at a pretty low level?
I'm not sure, but the audio driver installed on several HP laptops contains a keylogger type feature that secretly records every keystroke entered into the computer. And then it stores it...
Windows does the same thing already.
Well, supposedly. And then it stores it in an unencrypted file on the computer's hard drive.
In an unencrypted file. Ah!
So, theoretically, anybody...
Genius.
Well,
anybody could just pull out the hard drive and have a go at the keylogger file.
Well, okay, so this is what it says also. It says that the log file is overwritten every time the computer is booted up.
Say what? You just completely dropped something every time that's booted up.
Every time the computer is booted up, the log file gets overwritten.
Oh, well, I mean, that's somewhere. That's something, but...
it's still...
Again, why?
And HP claims that none of the... Either HP or the company that distributed the audio car or the audio chip claims that none of the information is being sent back to them. It's all locally stored.
Well, then what's the point? Is what I don't understand.
I don't think it was...
Why is this even a thing?
I don't think it was intentional. Um,
What? How do you? Oops, we just dropped a keylogger into the audio drivers. Our bad. What?
I don't think it was an intentional
I just
thing.
don't understand how you mistakenly do that. That's ridiculous.
Well, okay, so the driver in question includes an executable file for controlling audio hardware when a
You keep
user
dropping.
presses. Let me try this again here. So the driver in question includes an executable file for controlling audio hardware when a user presses special keys.
Oh, it has like media keys, and so
I don't know if it's
somehow
like
that's
necessarily immediate keys or something like that.
key combo FN. I don't know. That seems. Why do you need a keylogger for that? Does it like store whatever keys were pressed in the keylogger, and then it's just continuously parsing the keylogger to see if anybody
Well, this says it
tried
includes
to use the functions?
this says it includes a debugging feature that sends all the keystrokes through a debugging device or deposits them to a log file in a public directory on the hard drive. So that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking they must have done something incorrect when they were creating this debugging feature that turns it into a keylogger by accident. That's why I said I don't think they intentionally tried to actually include a keylogger on the system.
Why you? I don't know why you're dropping words.
Must be that wonderful MediaCom cable connection that you have.
It's not that. I have no packet loss.
Well, it sure as heck isn't my fiber.
Okay, well,
So,
fix your mic.
got me?
Sort of.
I don't think it's the mic.
I mean, like, your voice activation volume is probably too low.
Now see. Let's see here. Settings. This is the problem with using new software, is that I don't. Okay, you got me?
Yeah, for
All
now.
I just lowered the input sensitivity, so I wonder if that'll make a difference.
Hopefully.
Anyway, okay. So, what I was saying is that I don't think they intentionally tried to make a keylogger. I think it was just a result of, like, coding some stuff incorrectly.
Well, I mean, if you wanted the password to one of those and this thing was on there, it wouldn't be hard to get it. I don't care if it resets the file every time you turn the computer on.
Right? Oh, and apparently, get this. Apparently, this has already existed on HP computers since at least Christmas of 2015.
I mean, it would be simple as just make another account or use a guest account and go in the public directory where the file is. Boom, you get your password. As long as somebody else has logged in before you.
Something like that. And think about it. I don't know if you could do it with a guest account, but with like another administrator account, like if you think about it, like how many people just turn on the
I mean,
file
if you're an
sharing
administrator
anyways?
account, you can already do whatever you want.
Yeah, and think about like how many people.
But if you were just a standard account and this thing's in a public directory, yeah, that wouldn't be hard. Not
That's
only
what I
that,
mean.
but it says it's overwritten on boot, so it would be as simple as just turn the computer off and then put the drive in another computer. Since it hasn't been booted yet, it won't have been overwritten, and then you can just put it in another computer and have a look.
Hot swapping drives though is not necessarily the. It's not a great
It's
way
not
to like.
hot swap. No, it wouldn't be hot swap because it would. It's not like it resets the file when the drive is.
Oh, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
Like the OS that's on the drive is what's resetting it.
I get
So
what
if
you're saying.
another OS was running the OS, and that was just mounted as like a
I didn't think about it that
drive,
way.
it would be that simple.
Yeah, I didn't think about it that way. Although I don't know if it clears it when you like power out the system or if it's actually when you reboot it.
No, I doubt it's at a low level like that.
So I don't know.
If you were to do that, I guarantee it would still be there.
I'm just surprised that
Have fun with your administrator password.
yeah, I'm just surprised that because, like I said, it has been something that has been around since like 2015, like Christmas 2015. So it's been what, like a year now or something like that. I'm surprised that they haven't fixed it. But maybe
I'm
they'll.
surprised that nobody's called them out on it yet.
Well, we just sort of
Because
kind of
that is
did.
just an absolutely boneheaded mistake.
I'm wondering if the way they're looking at it is it's not sending any data back, so we're not too concerned with it.
I mean, I guess, but it's still such a glaring security hole. Like, what the heck?
Oh yeah, don't
That's
yeah,
stupid.
definitely. But I think
Don't put keyloggers on your system that dump data to files in a public directory, okay? Okay, thanks.
I think the other thing is that oh my goodness, I need like some caffeine or something here or a nap. But I think the thing is that most users are so naive that I don't think they even really care nor understand exactly what's going on if you think about it.
Oh, I'm sure they don't.
So, I don't know. Yeah, I'm sure that's probably what it is. Anyway, moving on.
You good?
I'm good. Are you good?
I can't hear you.
Anything? Test 1, 2, 3. You got me? Okay. We just dropped Zach apparently there. So this is always the fun part about doing live streams. Stuff like that. Or I apparently dropped him. Alright, give me about 2 minutes here, hopefully, and we're gonna be right back. And we're back. Oh man, I wish. Why does nothing ever want to work when we want to do a live stream?
Because that would be fun and simple. Easy.
Yeah, what, Murphy's Law? Anything that can go wrong will go wrong? Anyway, okay. Moving on to our next topic here. I don't know how much you actually know about this topic, but it's been something that's been going around for a while. Net neutrality.
Is going out the window.
So, for those users, for those viewers who don't know what net neutrality is, Zach, would you care to explain?
It is, in some cases, the only thing preventing cable companies from going mad with very anti-consumer restrictions and things. In fact, Verizon have been quoted to say that exactly that net neutrality is the only reason they haven't done silly things like favoring some content providers over others.
Yeah, so let me make this.
It's And so they, guess what? They're about to completely toss it out the window.
Yeah. So in retrospect, I probably shouldn't have picked this topic because you could probably get some sort of like political talk into this, and I don't want that in the Rams show.
I don't think politics. It's okay. I
But
just think that the person that was appointed to be the head of the FCC is, well, he mostly has the cable company's interests in mind, not ours.
yeah, his name is Ajit that I don't know. I don't
Nope,
actually.
I'm not even gonna
Yeah, yeah. It's like some
try.
like
But
Middle Eastern name
the
that
the
I can't
cable
even
companies
pronounce.
have him in their pocket is the point.
So yeah,
And he is about to throw that all out the window, and it's gonna be great, I'm sure, when he does that. If you're a cable company, it's gonna be great.
yeah. So let me talk about net neutrality real quick here. So Zach kind of explained it, but if you're still confused, so net neutrality is the idea that everything on the internet is equal. So whether it's
Data is data. It's
yeah,
ones and zeros.
so
That's it.
whether
You
it's
can't. Netflix's show or YouTube's show are the same.
yeah. So whether you're scrolling through Netflix or scrolling through Facebook, watching a video on YouTube like you are right now, maybe, or watching something on Netflix, basically your ISP can't discriminate against what the content is. So without net neutrality, a content provider or an ISP, say like Mediacom, could say, "Oh yeah, by the way, no longer can you receive, um, you can no longer go to Netflix or whatever."
I
Or
don't. I'm not certain they would be able to do that. However, they
oh no,
could
that's how
very
it
much
works.
discourage people from going to Netflix by heavily throttling it, for example.
Oh no, they could literally drop packets for certain services.
Alternatively, they can like Comcast has gotten in trouble for blocking like peer-to-peer connections and stuff like that.
I actually just saw a an article as I was looking through this about net neutrality, where Comcast apparently just recently blocked a website that was talking about like Comcast and net neutrality.
They
And
okay, it went like this. Website said mean things about Comcast, Comcast blocked them.
yeah, exactly. Which, by again today's standards, with net neutrality still a
They
thing,
can't do that.
they can't do that. Yeah, exactly. Now, and here's the other thing too: is what you were saying with throttling is that what it means is for those of the viewers that aren't necessarily as technically inclined to understand how the internet works, without getting too technical, things on the internet travel through little things called packets, and the packets make up the information that make up, say, a web page, or that video of those cats that you love watching on YouTube. And so basically, with net neutrality, those packets travel at the exact same speed as, say, somebody scrolling through Facebook or watching something on Netflix. But the idea is that without net neutrality, a company, again, say Mediacom, could say, we're going to send packets from Netflix through a lot faster than we are on than packets for, say, YouTube or something like that. Effectively meaning that that the video of the cats that you're watching on YouTube is probably going to be buffering quite a bit. Or, well, yeah, that's what it would equate to basically. And the thing is, though, and Comcast actually did this too. They told Netflix that because they actually
They
throttled
told
them.
Netflix, pay up or we're gonna slow your connection down more.
Well, no, this actually happened. So Comcast actually throttled Netflix and then made Netflix pay them for a faster connection.
Which is totally garbage.
Yeah, exactly.
I really feel like they should have got burned for that, and they just didn't.
So anyway, so this has been a big topic recently. Um, I think they started this like last year with the whole net neutrality thing, which, by the way, myself totally in favor of net neutrality, and I'm sure you are as well.
You should be if you're not a cable company.
Exactly. Yeah. So net neutrality, and that's the thing too, is like when you get into like big corporations and stuff like that, oh, what's better for our bottom line? They don't think about the
What's
users.
better for their bottom line is stuff like this,
You know
because
what?
it
This
gets
this brings
companies
up
to
an
pay
interesting
up. And
question, however, though. And of course, I do realize that you, like, for instance, in your area, what's the only ISP that you have available? MediaCom,
wonder.
right?
Media Media can't deliver a stable connection.
Whereas in my area, I have CenturyLink, I have MediaCom, and I have
Oh
my
wait,
local co-op.
I lied. We have, but it's DSL. It's crap. It's terrible. No one ever should want to use that.
So anyway, the thing is that um, in places where there are options like that, is it beneficial for a company, say Mediacom, to say, hey, we are going to throttle connection to such and such service, whereas another ISP may say, like, for instance, my local co-op may say, oh yeah, we're not going to do anything. We're just going to keep it as it was originally and everything. So I wonder, would that cause, certain cable companies to be less favorable then at that point? Like, what's the benefit to them?
Well, the benefit to them is that a lot of those
Well, yeah, I
is
guess
that
you're right.
people will start to use services that are not throttled, which will probably just so happen to be services the ISP is friendly with.
Yeah,
And then
I did
maybe
realize that after
ISP
I
gets a
said it.
nice chunk of cash from them, etc. It's kind of great for both of them, really.
Right. And like I said, yeah, in a place where, actually, I think
In a place where there's competition, they might lose customers though, and it might be a little less attractive to them to do that. But in a place like here, where they're the only company that offers higher than like 10 megabits, they have nothing to lose. They already have all the customers. They can do whatever they want.
right, and even where there are places where competition is, I guess I wonder how much of a difference that would actually make. You know what
I
I
don't
mean?
know.
I don't think
I'm
I
sure
don't
they'll do it.
I don't think they would hurt, be hurting at all because
Yeah,
you know
no kidding.
it's like, but
Especially since they seem to love, seeing how much hate they can get out of people.
yeah, and this is the thing is where it's like, it makes the small business owner, uh, you know, it makes it harder for them to possibly get their content out there in front of people and stuff like that because they'd be
It seems
buried.
like these days, if it's horrible and evil, the ISPs are going to do it.
But the Federal Communications Commission, or the FCC, on Tuesday published a text of its proposal to roll back the agency's net neutrality rules, allowing the public to comment on the new plan. TLDR, I did not read the PDF because it's 75 pages long.
Nope. But, I mean, really,
Give me the highlights,
the
please.
only hope here is that perhaps public outrage could be so strong that they just can't do it, But I'm sure they'll do it. That they're going to do it. You should just expect that they probably will roll this back, and it's going to be bad.
Let's see here. Basically, it aims to fulfill FCC's chairman, Ajit Pai, whose name I can't pronounce. He says he promises to eliminate the utility-style regulatory framework the FCC adopted in 2015.
Oh,
Under the proposal, the FCC would throw out the legal underpinnings of the net neutrality order, which reclassifies broadband as a so-called Title II utility service under the Commission, under the Commission Act. So,
yeah, I remember this.
now you understand what a Title II utility service is, correct, Zach?
I understand what you just totally cut.
I swear it's got to be that media can't cable that you've got.
It's actually not, because if it was, when I hear you, I would hear, stuttering and packet loss and stuff like that. You're coming in crystal clear when you're coming in.
I don't know what to tell you because it shouldn't be my fiber, but it's probably because I'm also trying to stream this at the same time.
I don't even think it's a connection problem. I think it's your sensitivity is too low. Something's up.
Sensitivity levels are set as low as they possibly can be.
Whatever. I don't even know then.
I think they are at least. Let's see here. There.
I don't even know.
Now it's
Whatever.
at
We're on
negative
the last
100.
thing anyway. It doesn't matter.
Actually, there's one more after this.
Wait, what?
Did you not look at the rundown for this week?
I must not have opened the last one. I must have missed it. Sorry.
Yeah, there's 2 documents in there. There's actually the one where you don't have to open up the websites because I was getting tired of looking at ads.
I was getting tired of auto-playing videos, but I have ad block installed. I'm good there.
And then there's actually a rundown for the show. So, anyway. Where was I? Oh, yeah. So I was asking you, do you understand what a Title II
yeah, it means they
service is?
have restrictions on what they can restrict, kind of thing.
Yeah, so my understanding is that
I remember this because I remember that some time ago, some ISPs were doing this stuff, and the FCC was threatening them, like, "Hey, we're gonna reclassify you if you don't stop doing this. So you can't do it then. We can't enforce it now, but if you keep doing it, we're gonna reclassify you so we can enforce this stuff on you."
You know what's funny, and I'll get back to what I was going to say in a second. So we were talking about Mediacom on the page that I had up on the stream. There's a big giant Mediacom ad.
Oh my god! Oh, I want to puke. That is disgusting. That is absolutely disgusting. Holy crap!
Anyway, so
awful.
So my understanding of what a Title II utility service is, it's kind of like, oh my goodness, my dog is barking in the background. That's going to get super annoying super quick. Zach, quick, think of something you can talk about for about, I don't know, 2 minutes.
Oh, God. All right. Well, I mean...
Oh my goodness, where is your source? No. Do I not have a single of you?
Probably not. I don't have anything to talk about, though.
Let's do this real quick. Let me throw up the "we'll be right back," and I'll be right back in just a second. Hang on.
Yeah, we just got all the...
Oh my goodness! There. Okay. I really need to make a you know what's sad too? So I have my how do you pronounce this thing? Straffy?
Huh?
How do you pronounce the name of the keyboard I have?
Strafe. What are you talking about?
Yeah. So I have my strafe keyboard here with with custom color coding for all the hotkeys.
Oh, you did that?
Maybe I need to color coordinate these even better. Well, the idea was that I would know, what went with what, but I apparently forgot what sources actually do, or what hotkeys actually do what apparently this week. I don't know. This has just been an off week for the Ram show. You can't hear me. We were late. Again, I won't name any names as to why.
Something as to why. Couldn't even hear it.
I said I won't even say or I won't mention any names as to why we were late this week.
All right, you know what? That was the only thing I did this week. Other than that,
Uh, hey, directing is hard, okay?
Sure.
Anyway, back to what I was saying was with this Title II utility service. So my understanding is it's kind of like FedEx, where they can't discriminate against packages, basically. If you think about it, like they probably get a lot of Amazon packages, and they can't say, "Oh, we're going to ship the Amazon packages later than we are everything else, or before everything else, because they're paying us more."
Amazon pays us a nice check, you know.
Yeah, they can't do that.
Well, that's what's about to happen with ISPs. I mean, it might not go that far off the deep end right away, but if a lot of these rules are lifted, it will more or less allow ISPs to do, horrible things like that.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
they will get away with it scot-free because now the rules say they can, or rather don't say they can't.
Yeah, right. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. Hopefully, enough people complain enough that they don't actually do anything about it and they just keep net neutrality where it is and stuff
I
like that.
really hope they do, but I wouldn't get my hopes up.
I wouldn't get my hopes up either. Okay. Last topic for today. First question for you. Well, actually, let me give the topic here. DJI is going to restrict unregistered drones.
What? Are you serious?
So my first question for you is, how do you feel about drones in general?
I think they're cool, but I think this drone registering nonsense is stupid. Like, what?
I
What?
get it, and I don't
It's not
get it.
It's not like a real aircraft or a real even vehicle. It's a drone. It's a remote controlled little gadget that flies around in the air, and the government is saying you have to register that? What?
Well, okay, so as with anything, you are going to have certain people. I'm not going to get
We're
myself
gonna
in
do
trouble
dumb
this week.
things.
Uh, I wasn't going to use that word, but sure, yes. There are going to be, well, okay,
Well,
yeah. There are going to be certain people who are going to do dumb things with them. DJI, in here, DJI is offering a $145,000 reward for helping to identify individuals flying drones near airports in China.
I mean, all right. Flying drones near airports? Yeah, I get it. They
Like,
don't want people doing
so,
that. It could get sucked into the engine or something. Bad things could happen. Fine. But,
so when it comes
this
to,
registering thing is dumb.
well, okay, but see, here's the idea. With you having to register your drone, the idea is that when somebody does something like this, they'll know who it was, so that they can
Because
take
they'll recover the drone and
yeah,
show whose it was.
so that they can take the actions that they need to take. Oops, I didn't mean to do that.
I mean, right. But it's too. I don't know. I feel like that's just pushing the boundary a little bit.
So, um, DJI is taking more drastic action, and they're going to restrict the functionality of new drones until owners activate them and register their personal information with the company.
With the company, that's a little more interesting because
Uh,
now they just got a bunch of your personal information.
yeah.
It's one
Um,
thing to say you got to register the drone like the government wants you to, stupid or not.
well, okay.
It's another thing to say, all right, now you got to give that information to us too.
Yeah, so DJI, the website explains that the new activation process will take effect at the end of this week. It will require owners to set up an account and log in to get the latest version of the DJI Go or Go 4 app. Each account will be verified, the software and firmware update, and the full functionality of the linked drone unlocked. And
Here's the other thing, though, is that it's probably not going to take someone long to figure out a workaround.
That's
Pretty
probably
soon,
true.
people are going to be jailbreaking, rooting, whatever you want to call it, their drones
Hey,
because
check out my
they didn't feel
jailbroken
like
drone.
registering. Because they didn't feel like doing the stupid registration crap. So instead of doing that, they just flashed some new firmware from the internet, and now they can do whatever they want.
Right? Okay, so here's what you were saying. So, yeah, on one hand, this can be viewed as an invasion of privacy and a form of tracking, which, yes, I can see. On the other hand, DJI is giving. Oh, wonderful. Thank you.
Is what?
Hang on. Thank you, PC Magazine, for placing a huge ad on
Oh,
my screen.
did they put a giant pop up in your face or something?
Yes. I love when they do that. Um, Back to what I was saying. On the other hand, DJI is giving drone owners a big incentive to not fly their drones within restricted areas, such as around airports where serious harm could be caused.
And what is that incentive?
Well, again, the incentive is that with you having your drone registered, I would guess at that point they can, I
Oh,
guess.
right. So it's not an incentive as in we'll do this nice thing for you if you don't do that. It's like this
It,
might happen to you if you do.
yeah, it's an incentive not to do it basically because they can track, you know, your
Who
drone
did
and
it?
basically, yeah, exactly, and say who did
Like
it.
again, it's like telemetry for your drone. What? Are you serious?
So the here are the restrictions. Okay, if you don't register, it's not that your drone won't work, but you'll be limited to flying it at a maximum height of 98 feet and a range of 164
So
feet.
just arbitrary numbers is like how high or fast or whatever you can fly the drone.
Uh, yeah, kind of. Oh, and one of the reasons I can think of getting a drone, the live video streaming from the drone while in flight is going to be disabled.
Oh, what? Okay. So that's like half the reason that some people buy these things. And they're saying you can't use that unless you go on our website and put in a bunch of personal information.
Right? So 98 feet is, high-ish, but consider
I know,
that the
but
DJI
some
Phantom
people won't be
4.
happy.
Well, okay, yeah. Consider this. The DJI Phantom 4's like maximum height is 16,400 feet.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I don't know.
So again, they have the capacity to go a lot higher.
Oh yeah, definitely. I don't know how I feel about it though. Like on one side, like yeah, I don't want DJI tracking me and stuff like that. Like yeah, it is like a privacy thing for me. But on the other hand, like I can see it. It's like where if you're gonna be dumb and um do dumb things.
I feel like they're overstepping here. I get the point. I get that maybe they really are trying to be good guys or something, but I think it's overstepping a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. Well, and then you have the controversy of should you have to register your drone with the U.S. government as well, which,
Well, that's a whether you like it or not, they're going to make you do that.
well, news came several days after a district court in Washington, D.C., invalidating the requirements for non-commercial drone pilots to register their craft with the U.S. Federal Aviation Administration.
Wait, what? You mean they got rid of that?
I think from what I understand, if you are just doing like if you're flying a drone recreationally, you don't have to register it. But if you're doing anything,
if you're doing like professional video or something like that with it, you have to
yeah,
register.
like if you're making money and doing like professional stuff with it, you have to
I mean,
do it.
I think that's a fair compromise.
But see, here's the thing: I don't know if that. I think what the government wanted to do was regulate it, or have everyone register it.
I think it like drones over a specific size or that can go over a certain altitude have to be registered
Yeah, exactly.
or something like that is what they wanted. But it just I don't know. I think it was again like that just means that every random Joe who wants to try out a drone in his backyard has to register with the government. What? Really?
I think that, like I said, I think that's the way they wanted it to be, but they've gotten a lot more, like, either lax on it or the things that they wanted didn't quite get passed, I don't know. I don't own a drone. Actually, that's not true. I do own a drone. I own like a little tiny one that's like,
I remember that thing.
incredibly
It's
hard to
like the
fly.
size of your hand. Not really something they would want you to register.
Yeah, exactly. Like something like that, you don't have to register. But like, yeah, I think the idea is that at some point, I think they do want it to be. I could be wrong on this, so don't quote me at all. But I think at some point they want like all drones to be registered, but I could be wrong on that. They might have just agreed that if you're doing commercial work with it, then it has to be.
I guess that sounds fair enough. I don't know.
But
whatever.
I could be wrong on that. I don't know. It's an interesting topic that I will cross that bridge when I hopefully eventually get there with a drone. But
yeah, maybe.
Don't get me wrong.
I
Like
don't know.
having a drone in the Tech Beam arsenal, heck, having a drone in my arsenal would be awesome.
Yeah, it would be.
DJI.
I've flown one of those. It's pretty cool. It's not very hard either. They're super easy. They all are like gyro stabilized and stuff like that.
Yeah, they have like GPS lock and stuff on them. Yeah, DJI, if you're watching, hey, send us a message, and we totally love to.
You wish. You wish.
We totally love to get our hands on one. Can you imagine though, like a couple weeks from now, like one shows up?
No, you can build your own too if you want. Like you can just buy a bunch of like framework components and motors and a controller.
I don't know if
just build your own drone.
Oh, excuse me again. I don't know if I would trust myself.
Having been involved with that once, mostly the controller setup, the control board, that was a little weird.
Boy, you're telling me
it was an Arduino.
Oh, okay, so it was an Arduino. But hang on, you're telling me the one who is not handy at all actually managed to build a drone?
No, I didn't build a drone. I sort of looked on while a drone was built.
Oh, okay.
Or
that sounds more like
a little assistance. I mean, yeah, sure. I don't know. I would have done it.
I always joke with Zach and Joe that if Tech Beam ever takes off and we have an office, anytime something breaks, I'm going to be the one who gets a phone call.
Oh, shut up. But when it's a computer, it's going to be me.
Maybe.
Anyway, enough of this trash.
Anyway, yeah. That basically concludes this week's episode of The Ram Show. So, here's what you do now. If you liked the video, give it a big thumbs up. If you didn't like it, you can give it a thumbs down, I guess. Again, we'll cry about it.
I can see why today. It was terrible today. Ugh.
Actually, I don't disagree with that.
Wouldn't even blame you.
Again, something, somebody not ready to go, something.
You know what? That's the only thing I messed up on today, okay? I'm not the one whose audio just kind of went dead in the middle of the stream.
Well, okay, here's the funny thing. If I watch back the stream, which I usually do to see how crappy we did, I sound just fine.
It's going to look normal to you.
I think it's more of a, I don't know, like whenever it actually goes out over the stream, like it always seems fine. It's just for some reason you have trouble hearing me. So,
well, that's because it's recorded locally for you. It works fine.
Actually, no, it's not recorded locally. It's streamed to YouTube, and then YouTube records it.
Oh, you mean you're watching it on... Okay, I mean, I guess, I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah,
but like, again, just you're dropping audio. Like, what? Why? Again, it's going to sound normal on the stream because
Yeah, I don't know.
because it's picking up everything for you, you know?
Oh, you're dropping packets on me as well. You know what? Let's do this real quick. Hang on. Give me a second here. Let's do this. Just because I'm curious. Yeah, as we drag out the RAM show a little bit longer.
Just to play with some crap. Nice.
Yeah. Let's just do a quick speed test here and see what we're getting.
So yeah, again, I don't think it's your connection. I think it's something else. I think it's like it's not triggering your mic transmission or something. Something's weird, you know.
Which again is weird because I have. Where did it go? Oh, there it is. I have my. What is it? This is the problem with using software that I'm not familiar with. But I have my input sensitivity all the way down at negative 100 decibels. Just way lower than what I know it actually is.
I forget how that goes. Like, I'm awful at this. Sorry.
The lower it is, the... Actually, you know what?
I don't know. Something's funky. Whatever.
Does that make any difference now?
I mean, it was working fine there, but like it wasn't. After we messed with it the first time, it kind of got a little better. Like it didn't cut out all that often, but again, like sometimes I just miss whole sentences and want to transmit them. Like what?
Well, okay, so as you come back too, like, and you can actually hear it on the stream, like you'll sound robotic at points and periods.
I mean, I'm sitting here looking at my Paculos. It's fine. None present right now, so.
So here's what we got.
Weird or whatever I'm looking at is just wrong.
Oh, that possibly could be too. 11-second millisecond ping, 50 down and what? Yeah, 22 up. Because I just have badass internet like that.
Oh yeah, it's just so good, so good. The best. It's the best you can get, you know.
Well, remember, I have fiber and I'm on a.
You're not actually like pulling that much from fiber though, because you haven't subscribed for that much.
I looked into it. If I wanted to get, let's see here, because you probably have I don't have any idea how much we actually pay for internet per month, but if we wanted to get a gig, which would be totally pointless because my network infrastructure doesn't support it, but if we wanted to get a gig, I think it's like 120 something extra a month. It's like, yeah, it's some insane amount.
It's not that bad, but I've heard of even cheaper being a thing.
Yeah,
in some places.
Yeah. Small co-op, you know, they can charge what they want. I think if I wanted to get like the next level up, which is like 100, I think, it's like $25 more a month or something like that. But anyway,
I probably am pulling like 10 right now. It's just terrible.
Yeah, and I get a constant 50. I love my internet. It always sucks though whenever I go someplace and I do a speed test and I'm like, what? I'm only getting 2 down and like not even a gig up or a meg up. It's like, what?
Why don't we do a speed test real quick, huh?
Yeah, we'll see where you are. Anyway, while Zach is doing that, yes, what I'm gonna say is, if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up rating. If you didn't like it, you can give it a thumbs down rating. Again, it was horrible this week, so I totally don't blame you if you do. If you must leave a comment and tell us how horrible this episode was, I guess you can do that too.
Oh, come on, give us a break. We've been doing it like 3 times. Come on. Oh, and by the way, I have 4 megabits down right now.
Is that it?
No, it's just blazing fast.
Huh. Anyway, so with all that being said, we are going to end this week's discussion. If there's anything that you would like to comment on, like any of the topics or anything like that, Go check out our forum, which I think I forgot to put a link into it for last week. I'll put a link down there below for this week. And you can go over there and chat about anything you want to. Leave suggestions for next week as well if you're so inclined. And yeah, we'll see you next week here on Tech Beam. All right. That's going to do it for this week.
See, I believe part of the thing is that I'm on a VPN right now. Since I've gotten back,
you're on a VPN? I was going to end this,
I've been always on a VPN.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, your connection's going through a VPN. I was going to end this, but you started talking, so...
Oh, okay. Oops. You can maybe just cut that then.
It was pretty close in there at the end, so we'll just include it in the bad episode of the Ram Show. Anyway, alrighty.
Jeez.
We'll say goodbye. So, Zach, say bye.
Yeah, sure.
Alright, we'll see you next week, everyone.